It was 3 in the morning when my doorbell rang. I stumbled to the door, rubbing the sleep from my eyes, and what I saw nearly sent me sprawling to the floor. Standing in my doorway was a beautiful girl in a white dress, clutching a black teddy bear to her chest. "Leo, my darling, I finally found you," she said, tilting her head with a sugary sweet smile. My mind went blank. This was her. This was the exact image I had in my head of Stella, the dangerously possessive main character from my novel. "How are you here?" I stammered. She blinked, her expression a mask of pure innocence. "Because you left me, silly. I had no choice but to come find you myself." Oh God, the main character from a novel I wrote just walked out of the pages and onto my doorstep. And the most terrifying part, she seemed even more unhinged than I'd written her. "Leo," she cooed, stepping on her toes to get closer, her smile angelic but her eyes sending a chill down my spine. "Let's be together forever, okay?" She gently stroked the head of the black teddy bear. Otherwise, Stella might get a little upset. I was screwed. I was in some serious trouble. The cursor blinked on the screen, illuminating the final chapter of my novel. I was in the middle of a late-night writing session, completely lost in the world I'd created. It was an urban fantasy, a story about a man who travels to another world to save a beautiful but deeply unstable woman. I'd written myself in as the gentle, healing protagonist who spent 3 years mending the psychological trauma of the female lead, Stella. Just yesterday, I'd written the gut punch of an ending. Stella's first love, Ethan, had returned from overseas. Seeing that old spark ignite in her eyes again, my character chose to leave quietly, returning to his own world. Man, the readers are going to crucify me for this angsty, slow-burn ending. I muttered to myself, shaking my head as I got up to shut down my computer for the night. Suddenly, the doorbell chimed through the quiet apartment. 3 a.m. Who the hell would be here at this hour? Throwing on a robe, I padded to the door and peered through the peephole. A girl in a white sundress was standing outside, her long hair cascading over her shoulders, her face as pale as porcelain. That face! Why did it look so much like my mental image of Stella? "No way," I whispered, rubbing my eyes. "I've just been writing too much. I'm seeing things." I looked through the peephole again. The girl lifted her head. Her eyes, tinged with an unnerving, feverish red, stared directly into the peephole as if she could see right through the door to me. The corners of her lips curled into a smile that was both beautiful and deeply unsettling. "Leo, I know you're in there. Can you open the door, please?" That voice. It was exactly Stella's voice. My hand trembled as I unlocked the deadbolt and pulled the door open, my heart hammering against my ribs. Standing on my welcome mat was impossibly the dangerously devoted heroine from my book, Stella. She was wearing the exact white dress I designed for her, and in her arms was the small black teddy bear, the gift my character had given her in the story. "Leo, do you remember me?" she asked, tilting her head again. The obsession in her eyes was terrifying. "I missed you so much." I took a step back, my voice shaking. "You? How can you be? You saved me, Leo. You gave me a reason to live." Stella stepped inside, her movements graceful, but carrying a force that was impossible to refuse. "But why did you have to leave?" "I waited every single day for you to come back." Her eyes welled up with tears, and the raw grief and despair in them twisted my heart into a knot. "Ethan came back," I said, the words feeling heavy in my mouth. "You were supposed to be with him." "Ethan." Stella's expression instantly turned cold and dangerous. She hugged the little black bear tighter. "You really think I would choose Ethan?" Her voice was a soft whisper, but it was laced with a barely suppressed madness. "He's your old flame," I said, "the one you were always waiting for." "My old flame." Stella suddenly laughed, a clear, tinkling sound that made the hair on my arm stand up. "Oh, Leo, you really don't understand my heart at all, do you?" She walked toward me slowly, each step echoing the frantic beat of my own heart. "The only one I've ever waited for, Leo, has always been you." I stared at her, completely stunned, unable to process what I was hearing. But the look on your face when you saw Ethan. What you saw, Leo, was me finally letting go of the past. Stella reached out and gently caressed my cheek. Her fingers were ice cold, but her touch was tender. Ethan was my past. You, Leo, are my future. You're my everything. Her gaze was so intense, so focused, that I couldn't look away. It took me 3 years to understand that love isn't about waiting, she said, her other hand stroking the teddy bear's head. It's about fighting for what you want. So I came to find you, but this is the real world. You're a character in a novel. You created me, Leo. You gave me life, a soul. Stella's voice trembled with emotion. So what's wrong with me using that life to love you? Suddenly, she dropped to her knees in front of me, her arms wrapping tightly around my legs. Are you trying to get rid of me? After I worked so hard to find my way here, she cried, her voice muffled by my pajama pants. I don't want to lose you again, Leo. Her shoulders shook with heartbreaking sobs, and the desperate look on her face was more than I could bear. I knelt and gently patted her back. Don't cry. I'm not trying to get rid of you. It's a lot to take in. So you'll let me stay? She looked up, her eyes shining with a sliver of hope. I'll be good, I promise. I can cook, I can clean, I can do anything and everything you want me to do. Looking into those pleading eyes, my resolve crumbled. Okay, first, just get up. The floor is cold. A brilliant smile instantly broke through her tears. She stood up, as obedient as a child. Leo, I'm hungry, she said quietly, a faint blush coloring her pale cheeks. I glanced at the clock. It was already 4 a.m. I can make you some pasta or something. I want you to make me scrambled eggs. The way you did in the book. She tugged on my sleeve, her eyes wide and imploring. Just like you made for me back then. I couldn't help but let out a dry laugh. In the novel, I had made her scrambled eggs. It was the first real meal she'd eaten after a complete emotional breakdown. All right, but I can't promise they'll be any good. Anything you make will be perfect, she said, following me into the kitchen, because it will be made with your love. In the kitchen, I fumbled through the motions of making scrambled eggs. Stella sat at the small dining table, her chin propped in her hands, watching my every move without blinking. You know, your technique is exactly how you described it in the novel, she said cheerfully. That's because I just wrote down what I normally do. I explained, scraping the eggs around the pan. You're so brilliant, Leo. You even thought of little details like that. Her voice was filled with pure adoration. It's no wonder I fell so deeply in love with you. Her direct confession made my hand jerk, and I almost sent the spatula flying. Don't say things like that. Why not? She asked, tilting her head with an innocent air. It's the truth. I love you, Leo. She said it so matter-of-factly, with such conviction, that I was left completely speechless. The eggs were done in a minute. I slid them onto a plate and set it in front of her. Here, try it. Stella took a small, careful bite, and then her face lit up with a look of pure bliss. It's delicious. Really? I asked, a little embarrassed. Of course it is, she nodded seriously. Because you made it for me, right here. It's not just words on a page anymore. Watching her eat with such genuine enjoyment, a strange warmth spread through my chest. Maybe accepting this impossible reality wouldn't be so bad. Here, you have some too, she said, lifting a forkful of eggs to my lips. I can get it myself. Open up. Her tone suddenly became firm, and a flicker of that unnerving intensity flashed in her eyes. Let me take care of you. I had no choice but to open my mouth and accept the bite. Your face is so cute when you blush, she said with a satisfied smile. I like taking care of you. You know, you're a lot different from how I wrote you. I couldn't help but point out. That's because with you, I can finally be myself, she said, her expression softening. The Stella in the book had to hide her true feelings. The real Stella just wants to be loved by you. My heart skipped a beat. After she finished eating, I showed Stella to the guest room, but she flatly refused. I'm sleeping with you, she stated, hugging her teddy bear tightly. I don't think that's a good idea. Are you saying you don't want me? Her eyes immediately filled with tears, her lower lip trembling. I came all this way to find you, and you don't even want me in the same room. I don't want to be away from you for a single second. It's not that, it's just... Then it settled. Her tears vanished as quickly as they'd appeared, replaced by a sunny smile. She grabbed my hand and pulled me toward my bedroom. Oh, I'm so happy. The mood swings were giving me whiplash. In my bedroom, Stella climbed onto my bed without a moment's hesitation and patted the empty space beside her. Come on, Leo. Get in. I cautiously sat on the edge of the mattress, trying to maintain a safe distance. Why are you so far away? She pouted. It's not like I'm going to eat you. That's exactly what I'm afraid of, I thought. Are you thinking about something naughty? She asked, suddenly leaning in close, her eyes narrowing dangerously. Why is your face so red? And no, of course not. Liar, she whispered, poking my cheek with her finger. But I have to admit, I love it when you get all flustered. She suddenly wrapped her arms around my bicep, pressing her face against my shoulder. You smell so good, she murmured, taking a deep breath. I just want to be surrounded by your scent. Stella. She looked up at me, her expression innocent, but with a subtle, alluring glint in her eyes. Are you really sure about this? About choosing me over Ethan? I already told you, Ethan is the past. You are my future, she said seriously. And besides, her expression suddenly darkened. If you ever say his name again, I'm going to be very, very angry. In that moment, I saw her, the possessive, terrifying girl I had written into existence. Her jealousy was a living thing, perfectly hidden beneath that sweet, gentle facade. Got it. I won't mention him again. Good boy. Her sweet smile returned instantly. She leaned in and gave me a soft peck on the cheek. That's your reward. The simple kiss sent my heart into overdrive, and I could feel the heat rising in my face again. Let's go to sleep, Leo, she said, snuggling up against me and wrapping her arms tightly around my waist. I want to hold you while we sleep. I'm not going to be able to sleep like this. Should I sing to you then? She offered. I have a very nice voice. Okay. She began to hum a soft, gentle lullaby. Her voice was as sweet and clear as a bell, and it had a calming effect that washed over me. Slowly, against all odds, I drifted off to sleep in her arms. When I woke up the next morning, Stella was gone. I shot out of bed in a panic and rushed out of the room, only to find her in the kitchen, humming happily to herself. Oh, you're awake, she said, turning to give me that radiant smile. I'm making you breakfast. On the table was a spread of perfectly cooked pancakes, bacon, and eggs. It looked like something out of a magazine. When did you learn to cook like this? I asked, astonished. I learned all sorts of things so I could take care of you, she said proudly. I'm going to be the most perfect wife for you. Wife? I nearly choked on air. Of course. My goal is to marry you, she said, as if it were the most obvious thing in the world. Don't you want to marry me, Leo? This is all moving a little fast. You think so? Her expression clouded over. I've waited for you for so long, Leo. I've thought about you every day and called out your name in my dreams every night. Her voice trembled, and a wild, manic light flickered in her eyes. I can't wait anymore. I need you to be mine, and only mine forever and ever. That intense, suffocating possessiveness was both thrilling and terrifying. I just need some time to get used to all of this. Then I'll help you get used to it, she said, her sweet smile instantly returning. I have all the time in the world, as long as I can be with you. Just then, my phone rang. It was my editor. Hey, Collins, that ending you sent over yesterday is blowing up. The readers are going crazy. They're all demanding a sequel. I glanced at Stella. She was listening intently, her eyes narrowing into dangerous slits. A sequel? I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. What kind of sequel? You know, the hero comes back. He and the girl get back together. That whole angsty reunion plotline. The readers eat it up. Stella suddenly leaned over and spoke sweetly into the phone's receiver. I'm sorry, but there's no other girl here. There's only me. The line went silent for a few seconds. Collins, you got a girlfriend? She sounds sweet. Yeah, I do. I admitted awkwardly. Even better. You can use your real-life experience to make your romance novels even more authentic, my editor exclaimed. Just remember to pile on the sweet stuff. The readers love a good happily ever after. After I hung up, Stella beamed. You admitted I'm your girlfriend, she said, spinning around in a happy little circle. That makes me so happy. I just said that to get him off my back. There you go, lying again. She moved in close, planting her hands on my shoulders and pinning me with her gaze. I don't like it when you lie, Leo. The pressure in her eyes was immense. I couldn't look away. I wasn't lying. So you admit it. I'm your girlfriend? Cornered, I could only nod. See, You're so much better when you're honest, she said, pleased. She leaned in and planted a soft kiss on my forehead. And I love an honest man. In the days that followed, Stella seamlessly wove herself into the fabric of my life. She would sit quietly beside me while I wrote, prepare 3 beautiful meals for me every day, and massage my shoulders when I was tired. Her presence filled my quiet life with a warmth I never knew I was missing. "How many words did you write today, Leo?" she asked, peeking at my laptop screen from over my shoulder. "About 3,000, I said, stretching. The beginning of a new story is always the hardest part. Can I help? Her eyes lit up with excitement. I want to create a story with you. What did you have in mind? How about a story about us? She proposed. About how I came to find you, and how I finally won your heart. Isn't that just what's happening right now? Exactly, she clapped her hands. That way, all of your readers will know just how much I love you. Her innocent expression made me want to laugh. So, what would the main character's name be in this story? I teased. Stella, of course, she replied without hesitation. I want the whole world to know that I'm the only one for you. That possessiveness was both terrifying and, I had to admit, a little endearing. Leo, I'm hungry, she said suddenly, wrapping her arms around my bicep and leaning against me. I want your scrambled eggs. We just had those yesterday. How about something different tonight? No, she whined, her lower lip jutting out in a pout. I want the scrambled eggs you make. Seeing her act like a spoiled child, I caved instantly. All right, I'll make them. In the kitchen, Stella hopped up to sit on the counter, her legs dangling and swinging back and forth. She looked impossibly cute. Leo, can I kiss you? She asked out of the blue. My hand jerked, and I nearly dropped the carton of eggs. WHY? Because I want to, she said, tilting her head with a look of pure innocence. Don't you want me to kiss you? It's not that I don't want you to. It's just. So you do want me to. She hopped off the counter and stood on her tiptoes in front of me. Okay, here I come. Her lips were soft and warm as they pressed against my cheek. Your face is all red again, she said with a satisfied giggle. I love making you blush. I can't focus on cooking when you do that. Then I'll help you, she offered. No, it's fine. You could just sit. I want to cook with you, she insisted. It'll be more like we're a real married couple. I couldn't argue with that. We stood side by side at the stove. She was in charge of prepping the ingredients while I handled the cooking. Every so often, she would accidentally brush her hand against mine and then flash me a sweet, knowing smile. Leo, can we do this every day from now on? Cook together like this? She asked, looking at me with hopeful eyes. If that's what you want. Of course it is, she said, throwing her arms around me in a happy hug. I want to do everything with you. That evening, we were on the couch watching a movie. Stella was curled up against me, as quiet and content as a kitten. On screen, the female lead was giving up her dreams for the man she loved. How stupid, Stella said suddenly. What is? That woman. Giving up her dreams for a man is just stupid, she said, looking up at me. If it were me, I'd make you help me achieve my dreams. And what if I said no? I asked jokingly. Stella's expression instantly turned dark, and a dangerous glint flashed in her eyes. You wouldn't say no, she said, her voice a soft, chilling whisper. Because you love me, right? In that moment, I felt the true darkness that resided deep within her. This was the core of her being, absolute, unconditional possession and control. Of course I love you, I managed to say. Good. Her sweet smile returned in an instant, and she snuggled back against my chest. I love you more than anything, Leo. The rapid-fire emotional shifts were terrifying, but they only confirmed what I already knew. She was the girl I had written, brought to life in every perfect, frightening detail. Leo, I'm sleepy, she murmured, rubbing her eyes. Let's go to bed. Okay. In bed, she held onto me even tighter than usual, a new sense of desperation in her grip. Leo, I'm scared, she whispered, burying her face in my chest, her voice trembling. Scared of what? I'm scared that you'll suddenly disappear, that this is all just a dream. Her hand clutched at the fabric of my t-shirt. I worked so hard to find you. I can't lose you again. Her fear was contagious. I stroked her hair, trying to soothe her. I'm not going to disappear, and this isn't a dream. Promise? She asked, looking up at me with pleading eyes. I promise. Then you have to promise you'll stay with me forever and never, ever leave. Her gaze was intense. Because if you ever try to leave me, You'll what? I'll tie you up, she said, her tone eerily calm. I'll lock you away in a place that only I know about, so the only person you'll ever be able to see is me. The words were spoken so plainly, so matter-of-factly, that they sent a shiver down my spine. This was the terrifying reality of her love. It was hopelessly entangled with madness and obsession. I will never leave you. I promised, and I meant it. You're so good to me, she sighed, a contented smile on her face. I'll love you forever, Leo. The next morning, I woke to the scent of coffee and bacon. Stella was in the kitchen again, already preparing a feast. Leo, come and eat, she called, looking like the perfect housewife in her apron. You're up so early every day. Aren't you exhausted? I asked, feeling a pang of guilt. Never for you, she said with a sweet smile. I love taking care of you. As I ate, I could feel her eyes on me, studying my every reaction. Is it good? It's delicious. Better than what you can get at a restaurant. Absolutely. You're the best cook in the world. She beamed, her eyes sparkling with pride. Good. Then you don't have to eat out anymore. I'll make all your meals from now on. But that's so much work for you. It's not work, she insisted. I just don't want to give other people an opportunity to get close to you. Her possessiveness was so blatant, but the way she said it was so earnest that it was almost goo. Stella, are you jealous? I couldn't resist teasing her. Her cheeks instantly turned pink. No, I'm not. I just don't like to share you. Isn't that the definition of jealousy? Stop teasing me, she pouted, looking adorably angry. Okay, I'll stop. I reached out and gently pinched her cheek. You're cute when you're mad, you know. Now, my touch made her blush even deeper. I'm not cute. I'm beautiful. You're right. You're beautiful, I agreed. Am I the most beautiful girl in the world? She asked, her eyes full of expectation. Of course. More beautiful than those celebrities on TV? 100 times more beautiful. More beautiful than any other girl you've ever seen? Yes. A satisfied smile spread across her face. She suddenly leaned in and captured my lips in a soft, quick kiss. That's your reward, she said shyly, for saying all the right things. The unexpected kiss made my heart race. Stella, what is it? She asked, tilting her head innocently. I kissed you, she admitted freely, because I wanted to, but you didn't like it? Her expression crumpled. Was my kiss bad? No, it was nice. Really nice. I blurted out before I could stop myself. Oh good, she beamed. Then I'll be kissing you a lot more from now on. That afternoon, while I was writing at my desk, Stella sat curled up on a nearby armchair, reading a book. Every few minutes, she'd look up, catch my eye, and give me a sweet smile. Leo, I want to go out, she said suddenly. Okay, where do you want to go? Where do you usually go? She asked curiously. I want to know everything about your life. My life is pretty boring. The grocery store, the bookstore, coffee shops. Let's go to a coffee shop, she exclaimed. I want to go on a date with you. The word date made my heart do a little flip. Oh, okay. Sure. Stella changed into a light blue sundress, tying her long hair into a side ponytail with a ribbon. She looked so fresh and lovely it took my breath away. How do I look? She asked, doing a little spin for me, the skirt of her dress flaring out. You look amazing, I said honestly. Then you have to hold my hand, she said, holding hers out to me, her eyes full of hope. I took her small, soft hand in mine, and she squeezed it with a happy sigh. At the coffee shop, Stella sat pressed up against me in the booth, leaving absolutely no space between us. I'll have whatever he's having, she told the waitress, pointing at me. Are you sure? I usually just get black coffee. It's pretty bitter. I want to have the same thing as you, she insisted. It makes me feel closer to you. When the coffees arrived, she took a sip and her face immediately puckered. So bitter. I told you, you should get something else. No, she stubbornly took another sip. I'm going to learn to like the things you like. Seeing her force herself to drink the bitter coffee just to be more like me sent another wave of warmth through my chest. Stella, you don't have to force yourself. I'm not forcing myself, she said seriously. I want to know everything about you. right down to the taste of your favorite coffee. Just then, a waitress came over to clear the adjacent table. She glanced at us and offered me a friendly smile. "Sir, would you like me to bring some sugar for your girlfriend? She doesn't look like she's enjoying the black coffee very much." The kind suggestion, however, made Stella's expression instantly darken. "No, we're fine. Thank you," I said quickly. As soon as the waitress was out of earshot, Stella's grip on my arm tightened. "Leo, that woman was looking at you," she said, her voice a low, dangerous whisper. "She was just trying to be helpful. I don't like the way she looked at you." A flicker of madness crossed her eyes. "I don't like it when any other woman looks at you." "Stella." "Leo, let's go home," she said abruptly, standing up. "I don't want to be here anymore." Seeing how genuinely upset she was, I had no choice but to follow her out. On the way home, she was completely silent, her hand gripping mine with bruising force. "Stella, are you angry?" "I'm not angry," she said, looking up at me and forcing a smile. "I just feel like every woman in the world wants to steal you from me. They can't. I only belong to you." Hearing that, her expression instantly brightened. "Do you really mean that?" "I do." "Then you can't smile at other women anymore. And you can't talk to other women. You can only be nice to me," she said, her tone dead serious. It was an unreasonable demand, but looking into her pleading, desperate eyes, I found myself nodding. "Okay, I promise." She smiled, satisfied, and instantly transformed back into my sweet, adorable Stella. Back at the apartment, she was exceptionally clingy. She followed me from room to room, refusing to let me out of her sight. "Leo, I need a hug," she said, holding her arms out with a pout. I opened my arms, and she immediately threw herself into them, holding me tight. "Your scent makes me feel so safe," she mumbled into my chest. "It's my favorite smell in the whole world." "You've been acting a little strange today," I said, stroking her hair. "Strange?" She looked up at me. "How so? You're even more attached than usual." "Because I'm scared," she whispered, her voice trembling. "I'm scared some other woman is going to take you away from me." "No one is going to take me away." "But you're so wonderful, Leo. Of course other women are going to fall in love with you." A look of genuine pain crossed her face. "I don't deserve someone as good as you." Seeing her spiral into self-doubt broke my heart. "Don't say that. You're the most wonderful girl in the world." "Really?" she asked, her eyes searching mine for confirmation. "Really?" I said seriously. "Finding you is the best thing that has ever happened to me." Her eyes glistened with tears, but this time they were happy tears. "Leo, I love you so much," she whispered, and then she stood on her toes and pressed her lips to mine. This kiss was deeper and more passionate than any before, filled with all of her love and longing. When we finally broke apart, her face was flushed a beautiful shade of crimson. "Leo, was that too bold of me?" "No," I answered honestly. "I loved it." "Then, can I kiss you like that more often?" "Anytime you want." She beamed, as happy as a child who had just been given a piece of candy. "Leo, I want to be your bride," she said suddenly, her tone serious. "I want to marry you, and have your children, and grow old with you." The unexpected proposal sent my heart into a frantic rhythm. "Stella, will you marry me?" "Leo?" she asked, her eyes wide with a mixture of hope and fear as she awaited my answer. Looking at that beautiful, nervous face, I knew there was only one possible answer. From the moment she had appeared on my doorstep, I had been falling deeper and deeper in love with her. "Yes," I said, my voice thick with emotion. "Yes, I'll marry you. I want to spend the rest of my life with you." "Leo," she cried, throwing her arms around my neck, tears of joy streaming down her cheeks. "I'm so happy, so happy." I held her close, feeling her joy as if it were my own. "So when are we getting married?" she asked, pulling back to look at me, her eyes shining with impatience. "Well, these things take time to plan." "I don't want to wait," she said, a hint of her demanding nature showing through. "I want to be your real wife as soon as possible." "Okay, we'll make it happen as soon as we can." She smiled, satisfied, and then another thought occurred to her. "Leo, I want a huge wedding. I want everyone to know that you belong to me." That desire to declare her ownership to the world was so perfectly her. "All right, we'll have the biggest, most beautiful wedding ever." Really, she squealed, spinning in a circle. I'm going to be the most beautiful bride in the world. Watching her, so full of innocent joy, my heart felt like it was going to burst with happiness. 20 inches the weeks that followed, Stella threw herself into wedding planning with a singular focus. Every day was a flurry of activity, scrolling through pictures of wedding dresses, picking out flowers, and mapping out every detail of the ceremony. Leo, which one of these do you think I'd look best in? She asked, showing me a dozen different dresses on her tablet. You'd look beautiful in any of them. Don't just say that, she pouted. You have to choose one. I looked more closely and pointed to a dress that was simple, elegant, and timeless. That one. It's perfect for you. That's the one I like too, she exclaimed happily. See, we're totally in sync. Then that's the one. Okay, she nodded, pleased. Then she grew even more excited. And Leo, I want flowers. Lots and lots of flowers. I want the whole venue to look like a secret garden. Done. We'll order the most beautiful flowers, and the sweetest cake, and the best music, and the prettiest decorations, she went on, her excitement building. I want our wedding to be the most perfect wedding in the history of the world. I couldn't help but laugh at her infectious enthusiasm. You know, seeing you this happy is making me even more excited. Are you excited to marry me, Leo? She asked, her eyes shining. Of course I am. I can't wait to make you my wife. Hearing that, she blushed the color of a sunset. I can't wait to be your wife either, Leo. That night, as we lay in bed, she snuggled close against me. Leo, after we're married, I want to have a baby, she whispered. Oh, a baby who's gentle and kind, like you, or a baby who's cute, like me, she said, her voice full of dreamy hope. I want us to have a real family. We will, I whispered, kissing her forehead. We'll have the happiest family in the world. What should we name them? She wondered aloud. If it's a boy, we could call him Ash. And if it's a girl, maybe Lily. Why those names? Because I just think they're beautiful names for our beautiful children, she said with a sweet smile. Our family is going to be filled with so much love. Her vision of our future filled me with a profound sense of tenderness. I'm so lucky I found you, Stella. Finding you, Leo, was the greatest thing that ever happened to me, she murmured, nuzzling against my chest. I love you. I'll love you forever and always. I love you too, my Stella. 21 a month later, our wedding day arrived. Stella, in the dress she had chosen so carefully, looked like a princess from a fairy tale. Leo, do I look beautiful? She asked shyly. You're so beautiful I can't look away, I breathed. Good. Then you have to keep looking at me, she said with a sweet smile. I only want you to have eyes for me. I only ever have. The ceremony was perfect. When we exchanged our rings, Stella's eyes filled with happy tears. Leo, I'm finally your wife, she choked out. I'm so happy. I'm the happiest man alive, my wife. When we kissed, the world around us erupted in applause, but in that moment, she was the only person who existed. That night, we returned home. Stella changed out of her wedding gown and into a simple t-shirt and shorts, and somehow, she looked even more beautiful. Leo, I'm your real wife now, she said shyly. I'm going to take such good care of you. I'm going to be the perfect wife. You already are, I said, pulling her into my arms. Thank you for coming into my life. You're the one who saved me, Leo. You gave me a new life, she whispered against my chest. And now I'm going to spend every second of that life loving you, taking care of you, and being with you. 22 a year later, our first child was born, a beautiful little girl who looked just like her mother. Stella held our daughter in her arms, her face glowing with a gentle, maternal light. Leo, look at our little princess. Isn't she perfect? She cooed, kissing the baby's forehead. She has your eyes and my mouth. She's going to be as beautiful as her mom one day. I hope she's as kind and gentle as her dad, Stella said, looking at me with eyes full of love. Then I know she'll always be happy. 3 years later, we had our second child, a lively, happy little boy. Our home was filled with even more noise, laughter, and love. Leo, sometimes I feel like I'm living in a dream, Stella said one evening, her head resting on my shoulder as we watched our 2 children play in the backyard. If this is a dream, I said, then I hope I never wake up. It's not a dream. It's the happiness we built together, she said, squeezing my hand. I'm so glad I was brave enough to come find you. I'm the lucky one, I said, kissing the top of her head. You made my life complete. The sun began to set, casting a warm, golden glow over our little family. This quiet, ordinary happiness was the greatest treasure we could ever ask for. Leo, I want to be this happy with you, forever. We will be, I said, my voice full of certainty. Forever and always.